and welcome to Big Life Mindset, best life hacks and strategies so you love life more. My name is Eddie Rakanui, and this podcast is in the top 10% most shared worldwide on Spotify. I'm a leadership coach, and my client base include executives, business owners, entrepreneurs, and even winners of the Westpac Bank Innovation Awards. My coaching provides clarity of purpose, prevents burnout, and supports your mental health. This podcast, my coaching, my businesses, and every facet of my life, in fact, are all contributing towards my vision. My vision is to be a global phenom in helping people to love life more. Today's episode is one from our 5-minute coaching series. You'll hear from a collection of international business and life coaches, each with their unique take on the problems you face and how to solve them. The format is simple. In their 5-minute segment, each coach will introduce themselves, a bit about their coaching offering and how to reach them. But most importantly, they're going to use the bulk of that 5 minutes to share a problem statement and the solutions. That's right, folks. It's free coaching advice simplified. The order of coaches speaking is chosen at random, and I have no affiliation to them or their businesses. This series is all about sharing some of their value with you in the hope that you pick up one solution to help you live a life you love so you love life more. You're going to hear a short drum sequence at the end of each coach's segment, so stick around and make sure you can get as much of this free coaching advice as you can. Also, a shout out to our partners at Cerberus Strength. You can check out Cerberus Strength at cerberus-strength.co.nz for their latest merchandise and elite sports equipment. Finally, if you're considering investing in yourself or you want your company to support you with professional development, then you can email biglifemindset@gmail.com. That's biglifemindset@gmail.com. And in the subject header, write coffee chat. One of our team will pick that up, and we look forward to catching up with you soon. Awesome. Thanks so much, everybody. Can't wait to share some of this value add with you, and I look forward to hearing from you. Okay, bye for now. Awesome. So our next special guest coach is Benjamin Kintish. Thank you so much for joining us, Ben. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thanks so much for having me, Eddie. Coming here live from Maryland in the United States, not too far from our nation's capital. And I'm the proud creator of Life Review, the hospice musical. It's a new musical comedy, and I'm going to be sharing a little bit about that today. But as a creator, my business advice or coaching advice today has to do with the area of creativity.
Very cool, which is a nice segue. Would you like to share a little bit of a problem that you've identified and practical solutions to solving that problem?
Absolutely. So the problem is kind of twofold, but interrelated. It's about being creative and being creative on demand. And then how do we cultivate the moment when we can create those good ideas? And then how do we collect those ideas in a way that gives us the best opportunity for success? Now, I've thought about this a lot as a songwriter. So when I give specific tips, it's not just about writing songs, certainly for generating ideas for whatever you do in your professional life, your creative life. I'm a creative person and I want to be able to switch it on, but it's not always available at the switch of a button. So one of the first things I've learned is to access creativity, I need to set myself up for success. One, if it's important to create, I need to make the time and space for it. It can't just happen when I feel like it, in the same way that I would dedicate time to walking my dog or doing the dishes. If writing the song is important, I need to schedule time for it. And that includes making the space physically where I like to write, having my journal book ready, having my pen and pencils, even the pencil sharpened. And if it's broken, having another one within arm's reach. So having those supplies to help you generate the ideas and write them down. Now, we can't always have those good ideas available. So it's important to be aware of what helps your body and your brain to get going. For me, I find movement helps a lot. A lot of my best song ideas came to me in the pool. So if you swim, that's a great time. I think a lot of people find their creative flow is elevated when they're being physical. Part of the trick, though, is once you notice that pattern, be aware of those good ideas and capture them. So, of course, if you work out and you have the phone, I love doing voice memos. In this little phone of mine, I have probably a few hundred song titles where I'm walking and I have an idea and I say, Siri, take a note, song title, blah, blah, blah. And hopefully it's better than that song title right there. But the idea is when you catch it, it's a little bit like lightning in a bottle. You got to catch it and write it down before it flies away. And I think in the same way that we train our muscles to be strong, we train our brain to think in different kinds of patterns. So if you're not accustomed, I mean, my wife always laughs, Ben, you always hear song titles everywhere. I hear song titles because I've trained my brain to think in terms of language and to hear for ideas. I encourage all of you to think about the kind of creativity you're looking to do and then getting your brain primed to be in the situations where you can get those ideas going. The other thing I want to mention is whether you move or not, when you sit down at the page. Now, I like to sit at a paper. I know some people like to brainstorm on an iPad or computer. I'm old-fashioned. I like paper and pencils and markers, and I keep holding up my props here. I think having a sketchbook or a journal book, even if you're high tech, is a great idea. When we were warming up, you mentioned your dry erase board. I like the old-fashioned paper because it doesn't disappear. And just, I encourage all of you to think about idea generation or creativity as a practice all about planting seeds. And you never know which seed is going to take. I enjoy a good botanical metaphor, you can tell. So if you sprinkle a bunch of wildflowers outside, you're not sure what's going to take, but you have to start by sprinkling the seeds and then watering them and giving them sun. So in terms of the ideas, first you need to get your brain ready, then get your hand ready to write with the pencil, with the crayons, whatever gets your juices flowing, knowing you're not going to have a finished product. You're just starting. And that's how it all begins.
That's awesome. That's really practical advice too. There's a bit of time boxing in there, just finding when a good time is for you to have that creative moment, building up those regular habits. I love that. That's awesome. Ben, did you have a offering that you wanted to share with the audience?
Absolutely. So I mentioned at the top, I've created a new musical. It's called Life Review, the Hospice Musical. It's a new musical comedy. And I'm excited to say that we are now presenting the play in its condensed cabaret version. That's a one-man show with me on camera or in person singing and telling stories. And there's also an ensemble version we're looking to partner with a theater to present. So if you're listening today and you love theater, if you love musical theater, you're going to have an opportunity to learn more by checking out my website, which you hear about in a moment. And hopefully you can get in touch, not only just for performances, but I've presented in all kinds of settings, including in healthcare settings and institutional settings, to present the material and then to have a separate talk back or training with professionals following the play. And people have found this to be very engaging, especially in the health sector. But the play has a lot of heavy stuff as well as engaging and comic stuff. So it's very entertaining. And I hope you can consider bringing it to your community or organization.
Very cool. I love the fact that you've got that standalone option too. That takes a lot of courage. Nice work. Ben, how can people reach you?
Thanks. So the website is lifereviewmusical.com. I will spell it lifereviewmusical.com. Same spelling at Life Review Musical, at Life Review Musical. That's Instagram, and I'm pretty active there. On the website, we have a great trailer video. You can all log on today and take a look, listen to the music, as well as a form where you can be in touch about booking me for an appearance or just to get in touch. I'd love to hear some feedback and hear from you. And I think that's the main way to get in touch.
Hey, Ben, thanks again for joining me. Really appreciate you taking the time, mate.
It's a pleasure. Thanks for the opportunity.
Awesome. So our next special guest coach is Tahi Spinks. Kia ora, Tahi. Thanks for joining us. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Good, Eddie. Thank you for having me on your awesome podcast. It's a real honour to be here. Yeah, my name is Tahi Spinks from Tahi Spinks Coaching, which is founded out of my own personal journey from 70, 80 hours plus a week, running my own business, down to running that remotely and allowing me more time to put into this newfound passion of helping others and empowering others, inspiring others that I come across in my journey. And it's also a journey from the guilt and shame of taking work stress home and the people who love me the most wearing the brunt of that emotionally, to school drop-offs and pickups and sports events and being fully present with my family and my loved ones when I'm with them and having more time to do that with them.
Nice, bro. Nice. So you've identified a problem and some solutions to that. What does that look like?
So let me explain it in an analogy. I like to use analogies a lot. As you probably know, 95% of our mind is subconscious, and the only two ways to retrain the subconscious mind is emotionally or through repetition. So through analogies, that emotion can come through. And I use what I like to call my Papa model, which is pause, assess, plan, activate. So imagine you're driving around on a backcountry road, you've got no cell phone reception, and you get lost. What do? Well, you're a man, so you're probably going to do what I do. You keep driving for a bit thinking you're going to figure it out. And then you get a bit stressed and the windows would start to fog up. Eventually, you have to pause, you have to pull over, allow the fog to clear off the windows, the fog to clear out of your mind. And then you get the map out and you need to assess. Firstly, you need to assess where you are, because that's just as important as where you need to be. And then you assess your destination, where you want to go. And from there, you can go to the P, the plan, which is planning your route to get there. And only then can you activate and move into that part where you start driving down the road. And along the way, there'll be roadblocks that come up because your subconscious mind has limiting beliefs, roadblocks. So if a tree's fallen down across the road, you're going to have to reignite the Papa model. You're going to have to pause. You're going to have to assess, how am I going to move? What is the problem? And then plan, how am I going to move there? Is there an alternative route around this? And again, until you've got that plan, you can't activate. But imagine you're driving along that road and you pulled over and there's a farmer there that's lived there his whole life. Well, he can give you directions and you can try and remember them. It'll still be quite stressful, but he knows the way to get to where you want to go because he's driven it many times. But you're trying to remember, is it a left turn? Is it a right turn? Well, if he jumped in the car with you and he rode shotgun, then you're going to be comfortable and he's going to tell you stories along the way, tell you the history of the area. So that emotion comes in. If that tree's fallen across the road, he'll either know if there's an alternative route, or you might know the farmer that lives next door and can borrow his tractor and chainsaw to clear that quickly and get you back on your journey. So having someone like that riding shotgun with you that's traveled that path is huge. And because of those stories, like I said, the emotion is captured in the subconscious mind. If you ever get lost out there again, you'll remember those landmarks from his stories. You know, you'll be driving along thinking, oh, is this the right path? And then you'll see, oh, there's a bus stop that he said he had his first kiss in. oh, yeah, I am on the right track. It's the next right. And you're able to really ingrain that and make those long-term transformations.
Awesome. I love the analogy. Great visual as well. I love that. That's going to stick in the mind for a while. Now, did you have a course or a program or a book that you'd like to share with the audience?
Yeah, well, I do. And so my journey was one where I went along this path. And I know there's a lot of people out there stuck under the, that heavy workload, and they're stressed, they're burnt out, or they're close to burning out. So I've actually developed an online platform with tailored coaching programs for the specific niche, and it's supported by group coaching, individual one-on-one sessions mixed in there, so we can really personalize it to the individual's journey. So it's a journey with people, but for yourself. And you also get access to our exclusive Facebook group that's only got people in it who have been on this journey or are on it with you. And as Jim Rohn says, you become the average of the 5 people you surround yourself with the most. So having that community around you is a big part of that long-term transformation, as well as we incorporate tools for conscious mind shifts and subconscious mind shifts, because I really feel that's the key to really transform and it to last a long time.
Nice. Awesome. Thank you so much. And how can people get in touch with you?
So Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn, Tahi Spinks. I'm sure the links will be around this podcast somewhere. Or just drop me an email, tahi@tahispinks.co.nz. I'm always open to a chat. Drop me a message, get a hold of me anyway, and I'll see if I can help you from where you are to where you want to be.
Awesome.
I'll jump in and I'll ride shotgun with you.
Awesome. I love that. Great work. Nice to tie that all up. Hey, thank you so much for joining us, Tahi. Really appreciate you taking the time.
Awesome. Thank you.
Hey everyone, and it's my special guest that's joining us now, Andrew McDonald. Hey Andrew, thank you so much for joining us, mate. Really appreciate you taking the time. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Yeah. Hi, I'm the neurodivergent copywriter, but most people call me Andrew McDonald. What does the neurodivergent copywriter mean? Well, I help neurodivergent entrepreneurs to build and scale their businesses in ways which honor who they are and work for their brains. Why? Because I'm a neurodivergent entrepreneur myself. So I know how difficult it can be to follow neurotypical paths to success. And I know alternative strategies which will work for you.
Very cool. So thanks for that, Andrew. Now, you've identified a problem and practical solutions to solving that. What does that look like?
Okay, one of the main challenges facing neurodiverse entrepreneurs is in showing up consistently. You know this is the bedrock of success for any marketing outreach campaign. But how do you do it when you also have to navigate a world which wasn't set up for you? Neurodivergent folks know how neurotypical the world is, and this includes marketing. You can send cold emails galore trying to find the people who'll work with you, but how do you do that day after day when your neurodivergency leaves you feeling frequently exhausted? You can join networking groups, meeting new people all the time and building countless new connections. But how do you overcome the intimidation of being in groups if you're an introvert or affected by trauma? For every method of building business that a guru or expert tells you, you can immediately picture a significant barrier because of some aspect of your neurodiversity. But what these gurus and experts also don't tell you is the methods they describe aren't the only strategies you can use to successfully launch and scale your business. Instead of relying on neurotypical pathways, which very often produce feast and famine type results, you can build strong communities of engaged leads, customers, and clients around your business. Communities which know, like, and trust you as a valued ally to solving their problems. And you can do it by being true to yourself. You do it by building a mailing list, and consistently connecting with your community by providing valuable solutions to challenges they're facing. And you do it at a frequency which works both for you and your people, not by blasting out cold emails, not by spending your whole life at networking events, not by getting on the content creation hamster wheel, by being valuable and consistent. First, you're going to need to build a lead magnet. A lead magnet is simply free value you offer to leads in return for signing up to your mailing list. It can be a discount, ebook, webinar, quiz, case study. The list is endless. Have a look at what your competitors are doing and what you can do better than them. Then, when people start signing up, you email them. Why? Engagement. The more they hear from you, the more you help them, the more they'll know, like, and trust you. You'll be growing your authority and credibility in their eyes. And when they have a need you can serve, it's you they'll think of first.
Very cool. Very practical advice too. Thank you so much for sharing that, Andrew. Now, did you have an offering that you wanted to share with the audience?
Yeah, but where do you get started with your mailing list? How do you build a squeeze page leads can go to enter their email addresses and receive your lead magnet? How do you ensure they receive your lead magnet via a welcome email immediately after signing up? I'll repeat that word. It's key. Immediately. Not in 5 minutes, 5 hours, or 5 days. Immediately. How do you write a welcome email they'll definitely open? For all that and more, I've created a free ebook. It's packed with clear instructions answering all the questions above, and it's also full of ideas for how to attract people to your lead magnet in the first place. It's called Building a Marketing Outreach Campaign as a Neurodiverse Entrepreneur, and it's available free at www.andrewmcdonald.biz/book. That's www.andrewmcdonald.biz/book.
Awesome. So just to repeat that, that's www.andrewmcdonald.biz. Hey, thank you so much for that, Andrew. Really appreciate you taking the time, mate.
No, thanks very much, Eddie.
All good, all good. Just one other thing, though. Is there another way that you might want people to contact you?
Yeah. Before I go, I want to thank Eddie for the opportunity of being on his podcast. And if you want advice, if you want to escape neurotypical marketing methods and reach your true potential as a neurodiverse entrepreneur, the best place to catch me is on that website, www.andrewmcdonald.biz, where you can find a portfolio of my work, and you can contact me via a simple contact form on the website.
Awesome. Hey, thank you so much again. Have a wonderful day, Andrew. Look forward to catching up again soon.
Thanks, Eddie.
Fabulous. So my next special guest is Naomi N. Ali. Thank you so much for joining me, Naomi. Would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Absolutely. Thank you for having me. I am the CEO of NALI, a coaching and consulting business championing conscious leadership, where mindset and well-being thrive for the greater good. NALI's vision is a new era of leadership where conscious leaders are the norm and not the exception. My certified coaching practice is unique because we work with cutting-edge tools to identify and clear mindset barriers, install new strategies, and increase self-awareness. I'm a certified transformational coach and evolved NLP master practitioner coach and author speaker.
Fabulous. Now, you've identified a problem and practical solutions to solving that. What does that look like?
Right. So leaders work with me to regain their effectiveness because most are burning out, overwhelmed, and stuck. And my focus is on helping them lead within first. So I want to prioritize self-awareness to maintain that growth mindset and healthy well-being so they can be present and lead consciously. And a key part of leading consciously is communication. So what I'm going to do is today I'm going to focus on communication and share communication tips to avoid stressful outcomes and overwhelm and foster agreement. And I call it the conscious use of language. So these tips are particularly helpful in sensitive situations like performance reviews or negotiations. So we're going to drop right into context. If there's disagreement or conflict, you're in the details, the weeds. Now, weeds are good for solving problems, but if it creates tension and conflict and that stress and that well-being is at risk, that's their cue in that moment to rise above the details. So take the discussion high level. And here's how. So you're going to ask these questions as part of the conversation, which is key. So ask, what is this an example of? That's one question. And the other is, for what purpose? And the third is, what is the intention? And notice how the tone is important as well. So asking these questions will get everyone on the same page, bring all parties back to that shared goal, objective, or intention to reach agreement. As standalone questions, they're kind of awkward. So it's all about having that rapport, reading the room, and using a calm tone and asking the questions interchangeably, weaving it into the conversation, right? So again, you want to read the room and ask the questions at the appropriate time. And once you achieve that shared intention or purpose, then you can get into the specifics again as part of the conversation. And two questions to help with that would be, what are examples of this? And the other question is, what specifically? So here is where it's really important, where you want to avoid a particular statement when you're having these types of conversations. You want to avoid saying, I understand, but. So I understand, but is problematic because the other person doesn't feel valued or heard. We've all kind of been there when we've heard this in discussions, right? We want to say we understand, whether we do or not, but in most cases, subconsciously, we may not. So it's perceived as and taken as a conversation killer. So we want to use these statements instead. I appreciate and, I agree and, I respect and, or a combination of it. So I appreciate and agree and replace the but with and, essentially. All of these statements foster open communication, allowing both parties to reach agreement. And it's a valuable communication tool. It's a game changer. It absolutely helps resolve and diffuse any conflict. So once you get a hang of this approach, the conscious use of language, communication and conflict resolution becomes effortless. So the process is underpinned by integrity and compassion and treating people in the best way possible, believing in all sides and creating those win-win solutions.
It's awesome. The conscious use of language and almost communication cheat sheets. I love that. That's fabulous. So you had an offering that you'd like to share with our audience. What does that look like?
Right. So I offer a few things. I'm going to share a few of them while I can. So the leaders and organizations work with me to enhance their self-awareness. And part of what I offer is a corporate retainer. And it consists of one-on-one coaching, a 5-week group coaching program for women leaders, and workshops to increase self-awareness. And another workshop is a well-being service, and it's a unique meditative type of technique to clear subconscious blocks. It's got a funky name. It's called Quantum Time Release, and it's magnificent. And each of these services are available outside of a corporate retainer as well. And in addition to those services, I offer a 6-week one-on-one coaching program called A Breakthrough. And that is specifically to help women leaders who are running that high risk of burnout. And they prefer the individual coaching session. And that individual coaching session is custom designed to address their unique need and achieve their desired outcome.
Awesome. And how can people get in touch with you, Naomi?
They can visit nali.com. So that's www.nnali.com. And they'll find links to my social media there as well. And feel free to follow me.
Awesome. NNALI. Thank you so much for joining us, Naomi. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you.
Fabulous. So our next special guest is Shiraz, who is joining us from Toronto. Good morning. How are you? And would you like to share a little bit about yourself?
Hi, Eddie. I am doing great. Thank you for having me on the show. And yeah, I am a reality interventionist. So much the same way some people will come up when you've got a drinking problem and say, look, the drinking is bad for you and the people around you. I basically come and say, well, the entire reality you're creating is bad for you and everyone around you. And that usually comes in the form of the business reality you're creating or the money situation you're in. And a lot of times we don't realize we're addicted to struggle. We're addicted to lack. And you're trying to solve that addiction through physical means, but it's really this unconscious belief that you need to stay in the addiction that's causing the problems that seem like they're physical problems. And I let you see where that is and get you out of it.
Awesome. That sounds fascinating. So you've identified a problem and practical solutions to solving that. What does that look like?
So just recently, what happened with me was I was introducing a new program. And the new program is the highest price program I've ever had. And when I was getting ready to launch it, my income started to go down. And I hadn't launched the program yet, but my income was going down. And what I ended up finding out was that I was afraid that I wouldn't be able to fulfill at this level. And so what happens is when you're afraid of going to that next level, that you're not good enough, you won't be able to fulfill, something might be wrong, there's too much responsibility, your mind distracts you by creating other problems, which is my case, my income started to go down. And so my income going down and getting it back to where I was going originally is something I can fix. It's something I've done before. It's something I'm familiar. This new level was completely unfamiliar. And this is what your mind does, is when you're trying to get to that new level, it'll cause other distractions in your life. You could get sick. You could start suddenly focus on family issues. You could have technology problems. You could have your income go down. And now you've focused here rather than on here. But the truth is, this solves this. But your mind is trying to play it safe, trying to stick to what it knows. And so it's a matter of you saying, okay, I know this is what's going on and this is what's distracting me. I'm going to let that go and get to that next level. I'm going to focus on that new level. And when I let go of that fear, I started closing people in my new program. And this happens to a lot of people. Whenever you see people going through yo-yo income, they're coming to that threshold of fear and coming down. But it shows up like physical problems in your world. You don't realize it, and you try to solve the physical, but it's not. It's solving the internal that fixes it. And when people start asking, why do I want this problem to show up, rather than why is it showing up, the answers bubble to the surface. And that can solve a lot of things that's going on in your business.
Awesome. Thank you so much for sharing that. So did you have a book or a program that you wanted to share with the audience?
Sure. I have a book called How to Rewrite Reality. And it goes through in story form. So it's the whole thing is in the metaphor of stories. So it talks about your backstory, your genre, your purpose, supporting characters, and lets you know where you're addicted to certain parts of your life and how to get out of those addictions and basically rewrite your stories, your reality, and come up with a whole new life. And awesome. I've used it to have improved circumstances with clients. I got rid of 18 years of arthritis overnight using the techniques. So,
wow. Well, that sounds like it's going to be a fabulous read. Thank you so much. Now, Shiraz, how can people get in touch with you?
To get in touch with me, you can go to energeticmagic.com. And all the contact information is there. And you can even sign up for stuff I'm doing.
Awesome. Energeticmagic.com. Thank you so much for joining us, Shiraz. I really appreciate you taking the time.
Thank you, Eddie. It's been great.
Thank you again for joining me on this episode of Big Life Mindset. Once again, if you're looking for leadership coaching and you want to move your business from where it is into where you want it to be, or you're looking at coaching as an individual and you're looking at setting higher goals and achieving those while reducing burnout, stress, and overwhelm, then please contact me. You can find a link in the show notes, or you can contact me directly on biglifemindset@gmail.com. That's biglifemindset@gmail.com. simply put coffee chat in the subject header and we can pick it up from there. All right, thanks again, and we'll catch up soon. Bye for now.